It's not just colleges fighting anti-Semitism. K-12 schools are also dealing with it, and House Republicans are trying to find out how public school leaders are handling it. The senior national correspondent Kevin Corke is live in D.C. with that story. Kevin, good evening.
Evening, Trace. Leaders of school districts in New York, California, and Maryland all grilled on Capitol Hill today as House Republicans put K-12 schools under the microscope over alleged anti-Semitic incidents, with some key lawmakers expressing real concern that some of these major districts are simply turning a blind eye to anti-Semitism in their schools.
One of the slides in this curriculum said, for some Palestinians, from the river to the sea is a call for freedom and peace. It then cited as support a quote from Congresswoman Tlaib, who was censured by this body in a bipartisan vote. Do you think that's an appropriate thing to have on a slide for students?
We definitely believe that it's important to expose our students to a diversity of ideas and perspectives. And if it was presented as a perspective, I do think it's appropriate.
From the river to the sea. Now, one question that wasn't fully answered was about the potential impact of foreign funding influencing that is, American public schools, which remains an area of intense interest by not just congressional but also local lawmakers, many of whom, as you know, Trace, have the power of the purse to compel changes in behavior. We'll keep an eye on this story, but for now, back to you.
Money Talks. Kevin Corke live for us in D.C. Kevin, thank you.
You bet.
Well, the Fox News at Night Common Sense Department understands that UCLA Chancellor Gene Block is planning to deal a decisive blow to on-campus protesters. Not the anti-Israel protesters, mind you, the counter-protesters, the ones who support Jewish students, the ones who tried to tear down the anti-Israel encampment in the middle of the night and ended up clashing with anti-Semites. The chancellor is so furious with the counter-protesters, he wants to use January 6 type investigative techniques to track them, like facial recognition and having the public ID them. So Common Sense wants to make sure the scorecard is correct. The anti-Semitic, pro-Hamas, put on a mask and break all the rules protesters can go about their biz. They can harass, assault, torment, and prevent Jewish students from entering school buildings with impunity. But it's the Jew supporters who need to be rounded up, publicly shamed, and severely punished. UCLA is even teaming up with the FBI, LAPD, and far-left Los Angeles County DA George Gascon to, quote, prosecute to the fullest extent of the law. George Gascon thinks murderers are misunderstood, and now he wants to punish people? Common Sense thinks it's unusual to simultaneously surround yourself with those who dislike Jews and be on high alert for those who support Jews. Let's bring in Parents Defending Education President and founder Nicole Neily, the co-author of Stolen Youth, Montgomery County, Maryland School Board candidate Bethany Mandel, and the Director of Outreach for PragerU Kids, Jill Simonian. Thank you all for coming on. We appreciate it. To you first, Jill Simonian, since it's right down the street, UCLA, really, it's all hands on deck trying to find these counter-protesters who came in and broke up the encampments and fought with some of the kids. They want these people, and they want them in jail badly, but the rest of them can just kind of do what they want to do. Jill.
I gotta tell you, I read this story, Trace, and on a personal level, I am so disappointed and completely flabbergasted. I went to UCLA, and to see what happened on campus. Now, I believe in free speech. I'm always an advocate of free speech. I may not agree with you, but I support our ability to say it in this country. Right. But we need to back it up and understand, you know, maybe everyone needs to be educated about what the First Amendment truly entails. And that's something that we're really trying to educate children about at PragerU Kids so that things like this don't happen, because the First Amendment does not include violence. It doesn't include harassment. It doesn't include, segregation, discriminatory behavior. It doesn't include the vandalism that happened at that UCLA campus. I can't wrap my head around this.
And you cannot stop kids from going to class just because you 100%. Don't believe on who they are. So the whole thing is Bethany Mandel, an encampment at the University of Texas, San Diego. They got a lot of propaganda there. Let's put some of it on the screen here. One says, glory to Gaza, right? Glory to Gaza. Armed struggle is enshrined in law. Struggle for liberation. Rocket attacks on Zionist settlements. Over 2,300 rockets. We are not satisfied with coexisting or ending apartheid. Liberated the land from the river to the sea. Suddenly seems, Bethany, like ceasefire was probably not the primary goal here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when they say from the river to the sea, they mean the destruction of the state of Israel and therefore the elimination of any Jews from that land. It is a deeply problematic and genocidal statement. And it's funny because they say that they're in favor of ceasefire and that they are accusing Israel of genocide. But if they had the ability, they would be the ones actually perpetrating a genocide, not what Israel is doing and just fighting a war of survival. That's all Israel is doing. But if they had their way, they would be the genocidal maniacs.
They would indeed. Nicole Neily, you were at the hearing today on Capitol Hill, talking about, anti-Semitism in K through 12. Here is Florida Congressman Aaron Bean. Listen to him.
Some kids as young as second grade are spewing Nazi propaganda, which begs the question, who has positioned these young minds to attack the Jewish people? The very need for this hearing is a travesty.
I mean, we talked about elementary schools in Berkeley, California doing this, Nicole. What did you learn?
This has been taking place from coast to coast for years and years and years. And I think I'm really glad that the House has decided to turn their attention to this, because what we're seeing on college campuses now, those seeds of hatred were planted at very, very young ages. Children being told that Israel is a settler colonial nation, that this is apartheid. These children are being brainwashed by teachers who are activists first and are teachers second. And so this should come as no surprise. And I'm really glad. I think this is a terrific first step. And I look forward to the House committee continuing to hold all of these school administrators accountable for their actions. Or inaction.
Yeah, it's very true. They cleared the encampments at George Washington University, and here's one of the protesters. Watch.
They can mace us, they can brutalize us, they can pepper spray us, but the movement is here. It is stronger than ever. Our energy has not dissipated. As a matter of fact, it's come back 10 times stronger.
Are they going away, Jill? Are they going to stay? Are these things going to expand over the summer? What are you gleaning from this?
What I'm gleaning from this as a mom is that we are in a red alert emergency situation to properly educate future generations to appreciate America, even though we aren't perfect, to love our country, and to be united through our differences and diversity of thought. This cannot continue, and this is the sign right now. Yeah. Wake up, parents. Wake up, educators. We need to course correct this immediately, and we're doing that at PragerU Kids.
Bethany, George Washington University protesters put university leaders on trial, and this was the outcome. Watch.
Up to the gallows with you. Get out. The people find you guilty. To the guillotine.
Your thoughts, Bethany?
Yeah, so it's funny, they only cleared that encampment because the George Washington administrators were about to be dragged in front of Congress. The hearing that happened today, I was also there with Nikki, and it was the threat of these hearings is the only thing that makes these schools, whether they be K through 12 or colleges, to actually do something about anti-Semitism. They have real life impacts, and thank God the George Washington one, which is right in my backyard, was cleared. But why did it take the threat of a congressional, whipping, basically, for them to do that when they are clearly preaching violence?
Yeah. Nicole, I got 15 seconds for you to wrap us up.
I'm on a university board, and I would love to get in a room with them. I have had the same demands made of us. They'd love to educate us, and I don't think they know what they're getting into. So this is up to everybody, governors on down, to hold these people accountable and not to cancel their student loans. Can we also throw that in the mix?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good point. Nicole, Bethany, Jill, thank you.